Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, and I thank you for being here tonight. I'm not sure, I don't think I put the start time in the, what do you call it, the title. I was kind of rushed as I was having some trouble with some things. So I think we're ready to go here. Um, So it is 7 o'clock. I suppose it would help to say that I'm starting at 7 o'clock, but I don't think I put that in here. So whoever can join in tonight, we're going to be talking about what people find unattractive across the world. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it kind of depends on where you are. Now, I've got my website listed there at the top, designed by Mr. E lvbts.com. Of course, that's short for Love Beyond the Sea. Podcasts are over there as well. If you go to Podbean, you can subscribe to Casting Beyond the Sea and find podcasts over there. Beauty or Beast, what's considered unattractive around the world. So we got about 20 or more um, attributes or traits that some people find attractive, but a lot of people find unattractive, and you might be surprised by some of those. So before we get started, just to allow a little bit more time, Thursday evening already. I can't believe it. It's always Thursday evening. Time goes by so fast. I hope you have found your little woman, whether she's a Filipina or not, because it's something that can change your life. I'm not trying to necessarily change people's minds who are hardened and MGTOW, or they just don't want to change. They're I guess they're going to resolve to stay alone. Well, I'm not trying to convince them. I'm not sure I can. And so, if people do have a relationship started with a Filipina, I think Love Beyond the Sea can help you. I come from a unashamedly biblical point of view on things. Adam Theory, hello. I'm doing well, Adam. It's Thursday night, 7:03. Going to run through a live stream here. Hopefully, you guys can leave your comments, because I know we all have our idea of what is attractive and not attractive. Love Beyond the Sea is up to 747 subscribers now, so I'm very happy about that. As you've noticed, not just my channel, but others have been getting ads on their channels, and I'm not monetized, so I'm not going to make anything off of that. So it's just something I think YouTube is doing for people. I hope they're getting something out of that. But this channel is to help men find someone like a Filipina, find somebody to get married to, do something. I know marriage is not in vogue, apparently. It's an afterthought, or people just chalk it up to tradition. It's just a piece of paper. Marriage is far more important and wonderful and spiritual than that. And I think it's meant to be, as you can tell in many of my videos. I think we've got probably 740 videos and over 100 podcasts on casting beyond the sea. So that's the message I'm trying to spread, is like myself, who was alone for a very long time, 30 years. I might as well say it. Otherwise, this channel has lacks the appeal of somebody who was struggling for a long time, went from rags to riches, from famine to feast, got married. I'm sure a lot of other people out there hopefully will listen to this or watch this someday, feel the same way. They want to find somebody, and maybe they can learn something from how I did. The main thing in my channel is how to help you with that woman you marry to stay married. Because let's say in the Philippines, for example, I think the easy part is finding somebody. And the thing you really need to know about is how to stay married. Now, it would be nice here. There we go. Let's click on this. Nice here. Okay, good. I want to be able to see any comments that come across here. So as I go, please leave a comment. Nothing too deep or serious here, as many of my videos are. Tonight's live stream is going to focus on about 22 features that people tend to find unattractive from different parts of the world. And I'm going to link you the article I will be referring to. We all have our particular tastes of beauty, of course. What I consider sexy or attractive, you might not. I don't know how that all works, why we're all different, but we are. And I know what looks good to me. I might not be able to explain it, but I know what I like and what is a turnoff. And as we will learn tonight, there's a wide array of beauty standards all over this big world we live in. Some will surprise you. If someone was to visit another part of the world, they could be in for a surprise for what is considered normal and even attractive. In Europe, do some women not shave their legs or armpits? That's what I've heard. Facial hair in women may be more accepted in some other countries, for all I know. And let me know with your comments about whether you agree these traits are unattractive or if you disagree and believe some of these traits are attractive. I know you have an opinion. I often talk about making marriage great again, and since I married a Filipina, and I know that many are curious about that, I try to share with you what I can to give you a higher Phil West education. All I ask is that you subscribe, like, maybe share, make comments. You may have to go where you're wanted. And if that is some of the places I will talk about tonight, the beauty standards might surprise you. Facial hair on women is scary. Well, I don't remember if that comes up here. It might. It might. I listed the topics there in the chat section, Adam. Let's see, I can even see them here myself. So we'll have to see. But as you will find out, there are some things that we would consider pretty strange here in the West. Now, this is about things that people find unattractive in different parts of the world. And I have the link there at the top if you wanted to follow along and see the photographs that I am referring to. So I'm just trying to get this information out there. I think it's just kind of interesting, and I will have my 2 cents, and I want to hear your 2 cents as well. They start here in their list with what they call all dolled up. In France, you might feel more comfortable going out without makeup. It is a place where natural beauty is revered rather than cosmetically enhanced beauty. And we went to Paris on our second wedding anniversary. In the United States, we see celebrities layering on the makeup, but that's the opposite of what a French woman would do. In an interview with Vogue, Paris-based professional makeup artist Violet explains how the French use makeup compared to how other cultures might. What we want is to be ourselves, Violet explains, not a better version of ourselves. Makes sense. We feel like it's better to be used to something than to try to change it. So we think, what style can I have with this face and with this hair? That mentality is 100% French. If a French woman uses makeup, it is typically only kept to a minimum to highlight her natural features. If you look like you're trying too hard or putting a lot of time and effort into your appearance, then you're not a true Parisian beauty. So I guess they kind of like the simpler look, as far as equating that to Filipinas. My sense is they don't really emphasize makeup too much, and who knows, maybe it's because it's just so hot out there. But I don't think my wife was into makeup very much. Now, when I was younger, many years younger, I kind of liked seeing, I don't know, some makeup for whatever reason. I kind of found that attractive or interesting. As I've gotten older, I just appreciate the more natural beauty, not trying to get too dolled up. So I think basically I kind of agree with this one. I like the natural look. And Filipinas, for example, are so naturally pretty. I mean, just how much can they do? Adam says, I've never been a huge fan of makeup personally. A tiny bit is okay, but I prefer the natural look myself, and that's the way I feel too. Um, Adam, some is okay. Lipstick, well, I mean, I don't know. I just, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to take it off. And you've seen some of those pictures, maybe you haven't, of Hollywood celebrities, you know, with and without makeup. And I have to admit, some of them, I simply cannot tell that they are the same person. Let's look at another one here on their list for things that people find unattractive in different parts of the world. And we will go with a small figure. Small figure. Though curves are becoming more accepted as a beauty ideal in the West, there's certainly not an overt acceptance of large body types. On the flip side, some countries live by the phrase, the bigger, the better. Northwest University nutrition professor Salome Kruger told How Ghana some African men find obese women more attractive and would like their own wife to be obese. Why? They continue to show that he cares well for her and that he is not sick and able to produce children. Now, my wife has said that about me. She doesn't want me to look like I'm starving or something because that makes it look like she can't take care of me and she can't feed me. And you know, some countries they feel like if you're bigger, then you're wealthier because you're not starving. Continuing here, a generous booty and wide hips are also sought after in Jamaica. If you have no meat on your bones, according to NPR, if you have no meat on your bones, the society can't see your wealth, your progress, your being, says Sandra Stanley Naya, a lecturer in cultural studies at the University of West Indies. Some Jamaican women even go so far as to take, quote, chicken pills, unquote, chicken pills, never heard of that, to plump up their backside, which can be dangerous due to their arsenic content. Holy cow, arsenic content. Um, Myself, I kind of like a more, well, I'm not a huge fan of a whole lot of curves. Um, I think there is, for some reason, there's this trend to, even here in the United States, and I don't know if it's the Kim Kardashian thing or what, but women seem to be working very hard on their backside. Um, I joined the gym and I've been going there, and not only do women accentuate the variety of exercise they do for their hips, I mean, they are, I guess I'd call it sophisticated in the type of methods and ways they can work on their hips, but I get the impression they're trying to make them bigger. I mean, you see a woman doing a lot of not hip sled, squatting and things like that. I don't know. I just don't. That just doesn't appeal to me. I know some of them, what they wear, you can tell there's padding in there, and they're trying to make themselves look a lot bigger in their behind because you know it's padding. And others where you almost have to look twice because you're not sure they're wearing anything um, underneath. So I guess everybody's different there. Adam says, I prefer a slim figure on a woman myself. Not a fan of the big ones. LOL. Well, I've always liked, I said this before I even had a chance to meet Filipina, that just from years and years and years ago, seeing them in magazines, wherever I saw them, that they were so pretty and I just cute. I just thought they were like dolls, you know, just small and feminine. And there was just something about them. Big eyes, long black hair, short, small, maybe dark skin. It's like, wow, you just don't see that around here. And this was a long time ago. I thought, boy, these Filipinas or women from the Philippines are beautiful. Then many years later, after trying to find somebody desperately to marry, I ended up marrying a woman from the Philippines. And Not complaining about that at all. According to How Ghana, studies by the Human Sciences Research Council demonstrated that obesity among Black women in South Africa may be due to their inclination to link weight gain with well being and attractiveness. This concept is not a new one. Just change weight gain for weight loss, and you have America, they say, even though there's a lot of obesity in America. This correlation between a woman's weight and her status in society appears to apply in a variety of forms, so every woman can rest assured that she can feel bad about herself somewhere in the world, consequently, good about herself somewhere in the world. Now, kind of the flip side of that is no curves. And tonight we're talking about things that people find unattractive in different parts of the world. Here on Love Beyond the Sea, please leave your comment. Nothing too dramatic here tonight. Another thing listed here is no curves. No curves. Slenderness has been an idealized body type for women in Western countries for decades, but we've seen a slow shift towards curves in recent years. Before Kim Kardashian, I mentioned her earlier, just off the top of my head, before Kim Kardashian broke the internet with her bountiful backside, a women in other parts of the world were already working to get some junk in their trunk. In Brazil, a large rear end is still considered sexy, they say, to most Brazilian men, according to an article in the New York Times. This endures even as beauty standards there are changing due to outside influence, and eating disorders are on the rise as women work to get thinner and thinner. And just a word about that, our thyroid changes as we get older, and a woman might need to do something about her thyroid. Certainly exercising, of course, eating right, exercising, and even lifting weights. I would not be appalled if my wife wanted to lift weights, because she's not going to be doing it to look like a man. I saw somebody today, I thought it was a man by the way they walked and their body, but it was a woman. But boy, all the mannerisms and movements were like a man, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I hate it when I can't tell. But she would just be doing it to, I think it would strengthen her bones. It would make her probably speed up her metabolism. If you add more muscle, you do speed up your metabolism. So a woman going to the gym and working out, and I see no problem with that. Even if there's always women on that treadmill. That can get, I don't know, that can get uninteresting. But as long as they lift some weights on top of that, I think then they're really doing the best they can for themselves if they're trying to lose weight. In Venezuela, there is pressure to have a specific kind of figure: big bust, tiny waist, plump booty. Women often undergo multiple surgeries to fit their country's standard of beauty. In 2011, the country's president, Hugo Chavez, publicly spoke out against these practices, saying that doctors convince some women that if they don't have some big bosoms, they should feel bad. Still, these standards permeate retail. Vendors even display mannequins that reflect this particular shape because the more voluptuous form actually ups their sales. One Venezuelan woman in the New York Times video says the Venezuelan woman will never be satisfied because she's always going to be getting her breasts done again. And I tell you what, if you've ever seen some of those photographs of plastic surgery gone wrong, you know why I would be very, very afraid of doing something like that, or if I was a woman, from doing something like that, because wow, sometimes they do not look good after doing even one plastic surgery can go wrong, and then the multiple ones on top of that can even make things worse. So the next one on the list here that men find, or people find, unattractive in different parts of the world would be unadorned necks. Picture there on that website that I linked for you. See what I'm talking about? Unadorned Necks. Many of us have seen women with rings stacked high on their elongated necks in issues of National Geographic. This kind of body modification takes place in regions of Thailand and Burma, Myanmar, and it is a trademark of a Padang tribeswoman. Even though the necks appear to get longer, what actually happens when a woman receives her rings is that the heavy gold coil pushes down on her shoulders and collarbone, making the neck seem longer than it is. Still, it is not for the end result of seeing the long bare neck that these women practice this tradition. In fact, having an exposed neck is uncomfortable for a woman of this tribe, despite the initial amazement of finally getting to see what her neck looks like. The long coil bearing neck is a mark of belonging there as well as beauty. Yeah, that is a strange one, Adam. Of course, you don't see people doing that here, but again, different parts of the world, it's different um, different things that they consider attractive and that they look for in a spouse. Now, this next one here makes me laugh because really don't see this on women here. Um, Mike Tyson has one, but he's not a woman. Is a tattoo-less face. Some people find this unattractive. Excuse me, unattractive. Some people find it unattractive if someone's face does not have a tattoo on it. Has a picture of a woman there. It looks like a beard, but it's actually a tattoo. In the United States, face tattoos can be associated with gang affiliation or simply considered the mark of an undesirable social outcast. However, it is the complete opposite for the Maori people of New Zealand, whose cultural history has been literally and figuratively marked by striking facial ink. Getting one's face tattooed in this culture is known as te moko. Try that. Women who participate in this tradition get chin tattoos, signaling a huge milestone in their lives. According to something called Broadly, their traditional female chin tattoo is considered a physical manifestation of their true identity. It is believed every Maori woman wears a moko on the inside close to their heart. When they are ready, the tattoo artist simply brings it out to the surface. Each chin tattoo is personal and particular to the wearer. I was just thinking, if you have two chins, do you have to have two tattoos? It is usually stylized after their ancestral markings as well as their own identity. It is a practice that makes Maori women feel whole, beautiful, and fully realized. Now, another one, I don't know, not a big fan of tattoos. One of these days, I'll do a video on tattoos and clothing. I wrote it a couple years ago, but I've got so many of in the vault that just, and I want to write new ones. That just takes a long time. I got about 270 yet to produce, but I've got the topics and a good number of them already written. So let's go with another one here. Things that people find unattractive. Let me know what you think about super pale skin. Super pale skin. In many countries around the world, such as China, pale skin is idealized, and women go to great lengths to avoid the sun. However, that's not the case everywhere, as in some places, having a tan that makes you look fresh off the beach is considered desirable. Jefferson M. Fish, Professor Emeritus of Psychology at St. John's University, wrote on Psychology Today that in the United States, many white folks like to sport a tan. Some even go to tanning salons despite warnings about skin cancer. I used to go to those all the time and lay outside and walk, and soon I'm going to be darker than my wife easily. I probably am now, and it's still in the 40s and 50s here. And as it gets warmer, I hope to spend more time out there. But yeah, I used to kind of be in the tan thing myself. Um, yeah, despite warnings of skin cancer, and what I've gathered is if you're going to get skin cancer, you'll get it in your 20s when you're out there the most. Anything you do after that to protect yourself isn't going to help stop whatever was started. Don't know if that's true, but I sure have read it a lot. So why is this considered attractive to people? Fish continued, a temporary tan, an acquired tan, has one set of social meanings: health, leisure, and sexual attractiveness. So it shows that you have both the time to go to the beach and the money to get there, which is a reflection of your status in society. Fish also noted that this is a privilege afforded to white people only, so race, they say, is clearly a factor here. I like it, tan women. Obviously, I married a Filipina, and one of the reasons why I like their skin color. There are various degrees of skin color in the Philippines. Um, the dark skin, it's very beautiful to me, and I know a lot of the Filipinas, as we may see here next, are almost ashamed of that, and we'll get into why. But yeah, Adam, tattoos. I'm not a big fan of tattoos. I don't understand them, why they would do that. What I have heard is people say once you get one. I overheard this conversation the other day. Guys were talking about tans or tattoos, and one guy said, "Yeah, once you get one, they say you can't stop." And then the other guy said, "Yeah, I know. Doesn't sound like something I'd want to do." But let's look at another thing that some people. I agree with you, Adam, about the dark skin. Indeed. Another thing people find unattractive in different parts of the world is a tan. A tan. And here's proof that beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder, or in this case, dependent on where you live. We know that in America, having a tan is a sign of beauty, but also of social status because it signals that you have the luxury to be able to afford a tropical vacation or leisure time at the beach. While many Americans would kill to have the perfect bronze tan, here we go, that is not so for many Asian countries. In places like China and Korea, for example, they could even add the Philippines, I think, having a tan is a sign of poor social status. In these cultures, the darker a person's skin, well, we think it's so beautiful, the lower the social class. It signifies that the person does a lot of outside manual labor. By contrast, the lighter an Asian person's skin is, the higher their social class and the greater their beauty. Women will go outside with parasols to keep their skin light, or will even go so far as to consider skin bleaching. So the next one I want to talk about here is a natural nose, what people find unattractive in different parts of the world. A natural nose. Many people with flush bank accounts in the United States get work done to their faces. Nose jobs, Botox, anything to get that much closer to perfection or youth. But plastic surgery means something a little bit different in Iran. For many Iranian women, getting a nose job isn't just something you do if you have a lot of money or a bad nose. It's something virtually any woman of any class wants. According to Vice, Iran has the highest rate of nose surgery per capita in the world. So why is everyone running to the surgeon? Not only is it a status symbol, it's a way of trying to find a good mate. The bandage signals that you come from a family who cares and provides for you, Vice reported, even if you don't need a nose job. Having a family that can afford to give you one is preferable to having the genetics for a petite nose. Iranian women will often continue to wear a bandage over their nose long after they've gotten their surgery to indicate to others, especially men, that they have had the coveted procedure done. If you got the nose you were born with, you're getting picked last for a happily ever after. Well, that surprises me. I mean, and a natural nose. I mean, there's all kinds of different shapes and sizes of noses. Some people don't consider that, um, I don't know, important or even significant at all. But I think, a nice nose usually looks makes for an attractive woman. Um, I don't know. I've seen many really, really stunning women that had unattractive noses. I know it's right in the middle of their face. But here in Iran, I guess you just consider that if I'm ever going to get married, I can't have what I was born with. I've got to change it. And man alive, they can. If the surgeon doesn't do a good job, you're going to be regretting that. Then what are you going to do? So another thing here would be something that men find unattractive in different parts of the world. Another one that's kind of hard to believe: smooth skin. Smooth skin. And the picture there is a woman from Ethiopia. She has, it'll probably describe what they are. It looks like all kinds of bumps. Her face kind of looks like a basketball would look. In many countries, if you have a scar or several scars, people gape and ask what happened to you. But in Ethiopia, scars are a way of articulating beauty for women, as well as physical prowess for men. In Ethiopia's Karo tribe, according to National Geographic, men scar their chests to represent killing enemies from other tribes. Women with scarred torsos and chests are considered particularly sensual and attractive. So when you look in the mirror and you see stretch marks, think about how in another part of the world you would be looked upon as beautiful for them. While we go to great pains to minimize and hide our scars, other cultures willingly undergo scarification and celebrate it. Yeah, smooth skin. I'm glad you mentioned that. My wife's smooth skin is just so smooth. I can't keep my hands off of it. And, she gets some pimples and she doesn't like pimples. And I keep telling her, hon, it's pimples. They're nothing. They're just pimples and they're going to go away. I was one of those kids growing up that had I was called pizza face, uh, Domino's, it's a pizza place here. Because I had so many pimples. I'd wake up, my pillow would have blood on it. From my face, it'd have blood on it from my shoulders. I just had, for like 7 years, I tried everything to get rid of pimples. And they just kept telling me there's nothing you can do about it, kid. Just nothing. It's not your food. It's nothing you're doing, you're not doing. And putting stuff all over your face like I did, it's just not, it's a waste of money. They said they'll go away when they go away. And they did. But wife, smooth skin, her cheeks, her body, her legs, everything. What a wonderful, soft, relaxing thing. It just makes me relaxed and fall asleep like I'm floating on a cloud or something. So I don't think I would want to find rough skin. And most women, speaking of roughness, they do shave their legs. I don't think women shave their arms. They probably don't need to, but legs, they usually do. So I'm a big fan of soft. Absolutely, Adam. So let me go back over here as we continue with things that people find unattractive in different parts of the world. Would be something called the monolid. There's a picture there. I have no idea where this or what this monolid is. In South Korea, the biggest plastic surgery trend is the double-eyed surgery. This is a procedure many Caucasian or African Americans may not have heard about before, but for many South Korean women, it's normalized. It's not unusual for South Korean parents to offer their children double eyelid surgery as a gift. So, why is that? Why is it so desirable? Many Asians have what is commonly referred to as a monolid, literally meaning one eyelid. It's that crease they say on the upper lid that they're after. Many South Korean women think that the double eyelid is more attractive. While a double eyelid is common in Western women, many cosmetic surgeons argue that South Korean women don't get the surgery to westernize themselves or reject their heritage, but rather to emphasize their facial features and emulate their favorite K-pop stars. As The Atlantic reported, it's widely known that the majority of South Korean pop stars and celebrities opt for this kind of surgery, and as most cultures, people like to emulate what they see famous, successful people doing. So while the double eyelid surgery is normalized within groups of family and friends, it is made even more desirable by the country's entertainment culture. Another one is thin eyebrows. I picture a beautiful woman there with, I guess, thin eyebrows. They don't look that thin to me. Full eyebrows have been trending in the United States on and off since the 1940s. When I saw pictures of Filipinas, including my wife, I was very attracted to their eyebrows. I tell my wife that all the time. In fact, when she was, picking at her eyebrows, I'm saying, "Hon, what are you doing? You're not going to make those thinner again, are you? I like those nice and luscious. I mean, uh, I liked her eyebrows, and she has. For a while, she was making it kind of thin, and now they're just back to kind of where they were before. I don't know. Never thought eyebrows were attractive until I got married and was looking at these women and noticing the different features they have that I'm not used to here in the West. And I thought, wow, there's some very beautiful women over there, and their eyebrows were actually part of it, I thought. Now, it says here that eyebrows are coming back in style here in the United States and and there, wherever that was. Full eyebrows have been trending in the United States on and off since the 1940s, with thin eyebrows coming back in style here and there. Okay, here and there over the past century. But luscious brows are a beauty staple within the Mexican culture. She's probably a Mexican woman there. As part of their video series, 100 Years of Beauty, Cut.com shared a video of beauty trends by the decade in Mexico. For the better part of a century, the epitome of Mexican beauty has involved dark curls, red lipstick, and bold eyebrows. Dramatic, shapely brows are a defining facial feature that is specific to Mexican culture history. While women today don't go as far as donning brows like those of famous artist Frida Kahlo, Mexican women still prefer dark and striking brows as opposed to thin ones. I do too. So if you're trying to get those eyebrows, they say hashtag on fleek, whatever that is, you should probably draw your inspiration from the Mexican beauty standards. And I agree with that. Another one here, bad character, is unattractive in different parts of the world. In Thailand, a person's beauty is determined not just by their physical appearance, but by their character. What kind of virtues they have and what values they uphold affect people's perception of just how beautiful they really are. According to an article published in the journal Ethics in Science and Environmental Politics, qualities like charm, good nature, a devotion to one's duties, and modesty are all positive characteristics that make a woman beautiful. If a woman lacks these qualities, she will be seen as ugly or undesirable, no matter how physically appealing she may be. Because Thai beauty is elevated, or rather evaluated in such a way, there is an emphasis on how well one gets along in their society. The positive intermingling of physical beauty and internal beauty lands a person in good social standing, which also improves their chances of entering into a beneficial marriage. So on the one hand, it could be said that the Thai pay close attention to internal beauty, while on the other, it could be said that it's simply for the sake of social acceptance. Either way, if you aren't an agreeable person, you're less likely to be accepted in Thai culture. This view of beauty is essentially the polar opposite of the American notion of beauty, where, for example, physically attractive celebrities can maintain their place at the top of society regardless of their personal values. I still think that you can come off to be a very ugly woman, no matter how beautiful you are, depending on your character. Now, we get into some things here, might be a little more out of the norm about things that men find unattractive all over the world. I honestly thought there might be more interest in this topic here tonight than there is. I'm not slamming anyone. There's no drama. There's something that people can relate to and talk about. And this is probably not going to be one for the archives as far as live streams go. But if you want to join me here and talk about physical beauty, what you like and don't like, that's what this live stream is for here tonight on Love Beyond the Sea, from a man who found a beautiful wife in the Philippines 6 years ago. Beautiful to me on the inside and the outside. But here's one: skin without painted patterns. Skin without painted patterns. That's unattractive in some parts of the world if you don't have the painted patterns. On the Amazon River, in the central Brazilian plateau, there's a well known tribe that inhabits a large swath of land, according to the BBC. The Kayapo, as they are known to the outside world, have a population of about 7,096 as of 2003, and have some distinct cultural customs and beauty standards not found anywhere else. For one, Kayapo women shave a V shape into their scalp. Additionally, the BBC notes that both the men and women and children use a variety of painting techniques to adorn their skin. Often they look to elements of nature, such as animals or insects, as bees, to inspire the patterns that they create on their bodies. They learn that these painting techniques starting at an early age. They start to learn these techniques when they're younger. According to the Wall Street International magazine, young girls practice them on dolls with body paints made from plants, seeds, fruits, and more. So to have bare, unpainted skin would indicate that a person has not been initiated into Kayapo society, which would likely not be considered attractive. Now, here's another one. Adam says, amen to that. Good character can make a not so one be very attractive, and vice versa for men. I wish people would, we all wish people and ourselves would have paid more attention to that when we were younger. And as we know, but we didn't think about then, beauty is vain. I tell my wife all the time, I said, sweetie, you're very beautiful to me. And, I want her to know how important good character is to me, because a person of good character is going to continue to have good character, and they're going to go through different situations and learn. They're going to become stronger, more resilient, more dedicated. They're going to become, their character is going to be strengthened, and they're going to become more beautiful as a result. All the while, you can only do so much about your physical appearance as you get older. And so I tell her, sweetie, your beauty is only going to get better. I know that. So I don't overemphasize her physical attributes. She knows how I feel about her. Obviously, I'm her husband. But I definitely accentuate and praise those character parts about my wife. Yeah, an attractive woman can made. In fact, there's a Bible verse about that. It's talking about a woman, a beautiful or fair woman, or maybe it's beautiful. I'm not sure. I don't want to get tied up in the words, but let's say a beautiful woman without discretion, and what it likens to her like with a pig with a gold ring in its snout. Um, you get somebody that doesn't have character, the beauty's going to go, and then the character isn't there. And then what do you have? Not much. So continuing here, another thing what people find unattractive in different parts of the world would be another unusual one: a blank forehead and an unpierced nose. Even though body piercing has become quite popular in the United States in recent years, most of those piercings are found in the ear, according to the Lancet, but that's not the case in other parts of the world. As Aaron Kenny and Elizabeth Gaxteter Nichols noted in Beauty Around the World, a cultural encyclopedia, whereas a few piercings are considered part of the norm of appearance in the United States and Europe, in a nation such as India, a nose piercing for women is a well-established element of beauty norms. So without one, it might look like something's missing. It doesn't just stop at a piercing, though. Kenny and Nichols continued, married women frequently pierced their noses to wear flat studs or rings called nath, occasionally connected with a gold chain to her ear, I think as the woman here is doing in the link I provided, especially as part of a bridal costume. Today, many women choose to pierce their noses to enhance their beauty with gems, rings, or semi-precious stones. Women in India also wear a bindi or potu on their forehead, which has a spiritual connection. I've never minded those nose rings and stuff like that. Those I think can look nice. It depends on the woman. What I don't get is those studs. Something looks like somebody just jammed a nail through your nose. That I see guys wear those. I see girls and women wear those, and it's like I just don't understand why they would want to do that. Or if they think it's attractive, why do they think it's attractive? Here's another thing that will surprise you that people find unattractive in different parts of the world would be perfect teeth. It seems that everyone in Hollywood has straight teeth that gleam white whenever they smile or have a close-up. But some beauty seekers in Japan have eschewed the so-called perfect smile, instead getting one that could be called slightly imperfect. Specifically, the look is called yeba, which translates from Japanese as double tooth. Also, while in the United States the look is dismissed as snaggle teeth, in Japan the dental condition is perceived quite differently as a trend. New York Times quoted beauty blogger Michelle Phan, who said, in Japan, in fact, crooked teeth are actually endearing. And it shows that a girl is not perfect. And in a way, men find that more approachable than someone who is too overly perfect. That I can agree with. Not everyone is on board with the trend, however, and some experts find the connotations of the Yeba trend disturbing. Dr. Emily Zaslow, an assistant professor of communication studies, Pace University, told the New York Times that the gapped tooth is sort of pre-orthodontic or early development, and the naturally occurring Yeba is because of delayed baby teeth or a mouth that's too small, she noted. It's this kind of emphasis on youth and the sexualization of young girls. Another thing here is unadorned teeth. What people find unattractive in different parts of the world would be teeth that are not adorned. Grills, spelled with an S or a Z, are one beauty trend that gained traction right in our own backyard. Though American hip-hop culture, or must have meant to say through American hip-hop culture, but it isn't too difficult to imagine how unusual they must seem to outsiders. While this isn't a trend that bloomed in modern America overnight, it actually has some surprisingly ancient roots. As Kenny and Nichols wrote in Beauty Around the World, after a decade or so of underground bling in the hip hop community, lavish dental ornamentation as a status symbol entered the American pop culture mainstream. They also wrote that the trend has roots that go back to the middle of the 7th century BCE, when wealthy Etruscan women wore flat gold bands over their teeth. So, what do grills represent today? They say, as expensive and elaborate systems, grills embody the definition of wealth, social status, and masculine virility in the contemporary U.S. urban landscape, they continued. And as time went on, it wasn't just men who sported a literal $1 million smile. Later, women celebrities like Kylie Jenner and Lady Gaga also began wearing grills. They added, showing just how popular the trend had become. Another one would surprise you, I'm sure. Natural gums, unattractive in some parts of the world. Natural gums. Teeth aren't the only things in your mouth, believe it or not, that you can adorn. In some countries, there's a picture there. In some countries or cultures, in order to accentuate the mouth, it is not the lips that are colored, but the gums, noted Kenny and Nichols in Beauty Around the World. And it's not a new trend either. They continued, gingival tattoos, or dyeing the gums. See, I'll bet you learned something tonight. Have been common in some cultures since ancient times in order to make the teeth appear whiter and give the smile more of a dazzling effect. That's one way of doing it. They added that the practice is commonly done in Senegal and other West African countries. Sometimes women will sport a silver tooth to go with it to accentuate the color of the tattooed gums. Not surprisingly, the procedure can become quite painful. A young Senegalese woman named Mariam was not deterred, however, by that prospect. I want black gums to obtain a more beautiful smile. It's become an obsession, she mused in a video made by VPRO Metropolis. She said, I do fear the procedure a little bit, but I'll be okay. And while she's visibly in pain during the tattooing, she's also pleased with the end result. It's necessary to be beautiful and attractive, she affirmed. Another one found unattractive in different parts of the world, wearing only black. Make no mistake about it, Arab women are some of the most fashion-conscious women in the world, and beauty trends are shifting in the United Arab Emirates, where all women wear an abaya, it's a robe-like dress, outside of the home. Emirati abaya designer Alia bin Omer told The National, before we used to wear only black, but about 2 years ago, the ladies started wearing beige, white, and gray colors. So anyone still wearing black may look a little bit behind when it comes to what is fashionable. Omer also noted that women are wearing different kinds of fabrics, such as linen and wool, depending on the season. And they say, I feel it's better to change a bit and use other fabrics, she added, after knowing that all the women she knows used to wear the same fabric all the time. Colored abayas are popping up in some parts of Saudi Arabia as well, according to National Geographic, though not in more conservative cities and towns. Now, here's one that will get you fired, I think, if you go to your show up at work that way or show up at a job interview. You probably won't get hired. Something that people find unattractive in different parts of the world is empty nostrils. Empty nostrils. That's when you don't have something in your nostrils. My wife is always telling me, hon, blow your nose, wipe that out of your nose. But that's not what I'm talking about here. There's a picture there on that link that I showed you up above of what this is talking about here. Some of the most distinctive beauty traditions in the world are practiced by the women of the Apatani tribe in India, and Kenny and Nichols wrote about them in Beauty Around the World. Historically, women of the group distinguished themselves from other tribes through long, straight facial tattoos along the bridge of the nose and a distinctive looking, they call it yapping huel, nose plugs inserted into the flesh of the outer nose on both ends. I've never seen that before, but I am looking at it in this picture. The women also sported large brass rings in their earlobes. The remote region where the Epatani live was only open to outsiders in the 1940s, according to National Geographic, so the tribe did not have as many interactions with other people before that. And as time has progressed since then, the traditional beauty practices of the region have fallen out of favor. Still, some of the older women hope that those trends will be revived. Quote, here, it would be very nice if we started to do tattoos and earplugs again. They mused one woman who still wears the Yappenhule, but that's a nose plug. She also hopes that they will go back to wearing traditional handmade dresses instead of store-bought clothing. Another thing there is, things in those like medical, very weird. Yeah, well, it's more common, around here, even in the Midwest. I can imagine it's probably more so in the East and West Coast of the United States. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't bother me. Sometimes it does, and it probably has to do with the the appearance of the woman too. Another thing listed here is that it's unappealing to men around the world is anything but red hair and skin. Depends where you are. Picture of a woman there looks like she's all red. And what's the one beauty product you just can't live without? For the women of the Himba, a semi-nomadic tribe in northwest Namibia, that product is oat cheese, which is a paste made out of red ochre, fat, and butter that's sometimes scented as well. The women put it on their skin and in their hair to give themselves a reddish hue, according to CNN. That is why they're known as Namibia's iconic red women, and have drawn photographers from all over the world who want to capture their image for years. While the origins of the practice have been debated, perhaps it helps to repel insects or keeps their skin protected from the sun. That's not the motivation behind the practice now. Himba women say that it's an aesthetic consideration, and they put it on every morning, just as any Western woman does with her makeup. Although the region where the Himba live is threatened by development, they continue to live and herd cattle in relative peace. So that is the end of that article. I also mentioned here on my own androgyny, because I mean that's a look you're seeing. I'm noticing more and more androgyny, where I will see someone, and like I mentioned earlier in the video here, the live stream, I don't know if they're really a man or a woman. From a distance, I'm thinking they're one or the other, and I appreciate the thumbs up. But when I get closer, I still can't tell if I'm looking at a man or a woman. So I don't know if they're transitioning or if they just naturally look that way. But I sure come across that more these days than I have in the past. And again, I mean, if it's just the way they look, that's just their appearance. Well, what can you say? There's nothing wrong with that. However, if they're intentionally trying to look like they can't distinguish their gender, I find that very unappealing and even appalling, because as you may know, I think a man should look like a man, woman should look like a woman, and they have different roles and responsibilities in marriage and in life, and that keeps things simple. And in this country here today, in the United States of America, we seem to be complicating matters, and some of that is making it more difficult for men to find a wife. Now, Adam, I really appreciate you sticking here tonight. Do you have any other comments? I was hoping we would have more people here tonight. I guess if I showed up next time with, I don't know, painted face or a tattoo on my cheek, I might have more subscribers and views on that. But we don't want to change anything there. But while I'm here, I don't, other than you, Adam, nobody else has popped in here. So that kind of surprises me, and disappoints me too. Um, I don't know. The subscribers are up to on Love Beyond the Sea to 747, which I appreciate. The Monolid video has been doing very well as we hit the 1 hour mark. It's been viewed 461 times in the last 28 days. We went last fall to Monowai, Nebraska, population 1. My wife wanted to go, so we went there. And I don't remember if we went anywhere else or we just came back. But then I think we went to Minnesota, so we stopped by there to have breakfast. Now I remember, my wife wanted to give Elsie a gift and she forgot it the first time. It's like 3 hours from where we live. So then we went back another time en route to Minnesota to visit some friends, and we were able to stop in and give her the gift, something from the Philippines for Elsie. She's in her upper 80s, I suppose, by now, and the town has one person, and she runs it. It's the smallest um, town in the United States of America, right here in Nebraska. So I don't know if we'll be there again, but at least I know what it looks like. And I don't even know why I start. Oh yeah, the video. That's done really well. It's the top video I have. 461 views in the last 28 days. So it's one of those deals where you get a video that does really well. Algorithm picks it up and it lifts it up and puts it out there for different people, and that's good. So hopefully, maybe there's some signs of hope there that some other videos will catch fire. So I'm grateful for everybody here tonight. Mostly that's you, Adam. I know there's been a few people stop by without commenting, so I don't know who they would be. So, we just have to evaluate all of this as we go, but I appreciate you being there tonight, Adam. I can still talk about stuff. It doesn't have to be about this topic tonight since we're done with that. I knew it would kind of take a while since there were so many things that men find unattractive in different parts of the world. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. Look for a video upload tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m. Central Time. And just a teaser here about that video. I will seriously ponder what to do with my wife, my Filipina wife. I am going to either love her or list her. Got that idea from watching these home renovation movies, or not movies, programs, I guess, shows on television. And so I thought, you know what? I need to maybe consider this with my wife. Should I move up and get another one, or just list her? Love the one I have, get used to it, or list her. That video will be coming out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So until then, I'm going to say good night from here. And Adam, thank you very much for your contributions. And I hope you found this enlightening. It's not to be entertaining, but just to teach something about attractiveness. We all have our thoughts about that. So stay tuned for the next video tomorrow, and in the future we'll hit another live stream, I suppose. So Adam, good night to you, and you have a good rest of the week and a good weekend. That's it for now here. This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea.